college. So, I just realized I filmed like a 15-minute clip and had the camera facing the wrong way, so I'm brilliant. In college, you get a lot of freedom, which is nice because you don't have parents, you don't have siblings, you can do whatever you want, eat whatever you want. When it comes to food on campus, you have to be aware that the dining halls have hours, because I didn't know that and ended up missing the hours and had to go buy myself food when I really shouldn't have. Dining halls also can't cook the food perfectly, so sometimes you may end up with food poisoning. And the food poisoning might not even be from the cooking, it might be from staying out too long, because bacteria can land on it and build up, and then you end up eating it and then you get sick. There's a thing called freshman 15, which a lot of people talk about. I went into college thinking I wasn't going to do the freshman 15, but I did end up gaining weight. Not 15 pounds, but I did end up gaining weight, so just be aware that you may end up gaining weight. It's okay, a lot of people do. It's what happens in college. Buffet-style dining halls, so you just keep going up whenever you want. A lot of the times, the healthier foods don't taste as good because they're cooking in mass, or they're just really bad because they didn't cook it very well. And you want the not so healthy foods like the donuts and the ice cream and the cookies that they offer, and that'll help you gain weight. But you will lose the weight if you work on it through working out. Working out helps with stress levels. You do have a lot of stress in college. Don't let anyone say you don't. There is a lot more work you have to do by yourself. Classes usually are about 1 to 5 hours a day. You don't usually have more than that. And they make up for that with the amount of homework you get. You usually get a ton of reading. For reading, you have to make sure that you focus on what you actually have to know. Just skim read. You don't have to read every single word, because if you did, you would be exhausted and you wouldn't even get through all the subjects that you needed to. Professors assign a lot more big projects because they have other jobs that they have to do. Some of them work at other companies, some of them do research. So they don't want all these small assignments coming in where they have to constantly grade for a ton of people. Professors often teach a couple classes, so with the amount of students, they want to be able to still do their normal job, their research, or just spend time with their family. So they assign a lot less assignments, but they do assign a ton of projects like research papers. Research papers are different than in high school. Not entirely. You still do research a ton. It still takes a lot of time, but the format of it is a little bit different. You have to go more specific. You can't just do general facts. Go more specific than general. Like if you're doing a project about Italy, you have to make sure you hone in on a specific thing about Italy. You can't just do Italy in general, because there's too much. You can't cover everything. And a lot of professors will remind you of that. If you ever don't understand what you're supposed to do with an assignment, it's always good to email the teacher. And I was told in high school that my professors wouldn't care. There would be too many kids that they wouldn't try to learn my name, but I don't find that's true. It does happen at bigger colleges, so the bigger the university, the more the students are in the class typically. So if you go to a smaller college, you're more likely to have like 15 to 20 people in your class. If you go to like a medium-sized college, probably like 30, 40, 50-ish. And then if you go to a really large one, especially with the gen eds like history and religion, if you go to a religious school, those have larger groups because there's a lot more people and they have a lot more freshmen that they have to allow to do it, or sophomores or juniors, etc. Professors will learn your name if you show that you care. It's better to show you care about the professor and the class than to not, because if at the end of the semester you need a little like push up to the next grade, they're more likely to give it to someone who they actually know is there every class, who participated, who turned in everything on time, and just overall did a good job. Tests in college are about the same as tests in high school. They require about the same amount of studying. You can do perfectly fine if you did perfectly fine in high school. If you didn't, learn how to study better, learn how to do flashcards. Flashcards help me a lot. Some professors, not all of them, have TAs. TAs are teacher assistants who will also have office hours. They will also help you if you have any homework questions or you just don't understand a concept in the class. The TAs are more around your age. They'll be more personal about what they went through, because a lot of them went through the same classes that you have gone through and are. When you're not in class, you're doing homework, so make sure you find a good place on campus where you can go study. So you can study in your room, you can study in the library. There might be a building on campus that has like small study areas that are quiet. Because a lot of the times you may not have a quiet roommate, you may have to leave because they have people over. Going into the roommate thing, it's not what they portray in movies and TV shows. Not all of the time do you get a roommate who will be your best friend and who will treat you right. You have to learn that that person's also adjusting to you being in the room. You have to be considerate about their space. They have to be considerate about yours, but it doesn't mean they will be considerate about yours. You may not end up being best friends with your roommate, so if you end up having a roommate problem, you can always talk to your roommate specifically or the RA. If you want to make more friends than just your roommate, even if you're good friends with your roommate, you can start joining clubs on campus. That's a good way to find people with similar interests. Clubs usually meet at nighttime. If you're scared to go out by yourself at nighttime, there are services for every campus where they'll have escorts that will either drive you back to your dorm or they'll walk you back to your dorm until you feel safe. Another thing that I learned in college is that people will still bully, people will still be mean, people will still be immature. It's not going to get erased. Most people just stay that way. Once they're a certain way, they usually don't change. So just be aware that if you think college will fix that, that nothing bad will happen with people around you, that's not true. People will still be mean. People will still probably give you dirty looks. People will probably still bully you. In college, people are still immature. People may still bully you, may still give you dirty looks. It doesn't just go away. People who were in high school are just getting into college, or if they're in college, they probably will still be snotty if you go to a rich college, or they just might be judgmental in general. So just be aware that some people may still do that. It's not because of you, it's because the other person's probably unhappy about the thing that they're pointing out in you, or they just don't like you, and that happens sometimes. If you find someone that's gonna be mean to you or bully you, just make sure you talk to someone if you're RA, or you can talk to your advisor. Those colleges usually assign you an advisor that you can talk to about stuff. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great day, evening, morning, etc. And I'll see you soon.